Welcome into Seahawks Today Live. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will get you the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors. Could they possibly be making a move for Cam Akers? Also, Tariq Woolen has been named the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week. We'll also have our live Q&A mailbag coming up later on. And then we will also preview the Seahawks matchup this weekend when they square up with the Los Angeles Chargers. All of that and more. A fun show on tap. Thanks for making us a part of your Wednesday afternoon. Tyler Jones here alongside the one and only Jeremy Chuggs is in the house today. And guys, we decided why not go ahead and get started a little bit early. This is our build-up portion of the show. We encourage you to file in, hit that like button as you get here. And when we get to 50 likes, we'll officially start the real show.
Micro Mike!
Micro Mike is here. Welcome, Micro Mike.
Mike in the chat.
I haven't seen him since the Seahawks had that nice win against Detroit.
Ooh, shots fired, Micro.
Yeah.
When are
How
you
about
coming,
that performance?
Micro Mike, when are you coming down?
I'd love to see you, Micro Mike.
We got to catch a drink.
Yeah.
Got to catch a boot.
Micro Mike, I got all your drinks right here, man. Just get down here. Where's everybody watching from? I see Ray's checking in from Utah. Micro Mike, of course, checking in from the great state of Michigan. Let's see. There we go, Micro Mike. Tyler and Chuggs is an MVP cast. We're the dynamic duo for a reason.
Almost better than Buck and Aikman.
Almost. You know.
Close.
We're working on that. One day.
Goes Buck and Aikman, Levy, and who's he with?
Louis Riddick.
Yeah, Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, right under it.
Okay.
Tyler Jones, Jeremy Chuggs.
We'll take that. David checking in from Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh.
Jeremy and I were here at the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas, Texas. I see Joseph checking in from North Carolina. And Micro Mike says, bah ha ha, I had to lay low, tell the boss to pay me to come down. Okay, we'll see what the bosses can do.
We'll see if we can fit that in the budget.
Yeah. Aaron checking in from Stanwood, Washington. Let's see. SoCal representing from Aiden checking in. Good to see you from Southern California. Whereabouts in Southern California? I see Brian in Raleigh, North Carolina checking in as well. Lions Talk, Micro Mike says, we are better than Buck and Aikman.
There you go.
Okay.
Fact.
The people have spoken.
It's a fact.
They said it, not me. So, Dog checking in from Bellevue, Washington. Mark in Everett, Washington. Very cool. Glad to have all you guys here on this Wednesday afternoon, spending your happy hour with us. Ray says, I still want to tank for a top quarterback. Is that okay? Ray, no. The Seahawks are tied for first place in the division. No, it's not okay. We're not talking about tanking right now. Not happening. This team's too good to be
Mikey in Houston.
Mikey in Houston. That is Jeremy Chuggs' hometown, and you got the Astros colors on.
I know. Don't hate me, guys. Don't hate me. But you have to admit, even though Houston beat the Mariners to get to the ALCS, you have to admit, you'd rather have the Astros win than the Yankees.
Right.
Nobody likes the Yankees.
I mean, you guys are the biggest cheaters in all sports, but
some might say.
That's another story. Joseph checking in from, we mentioned that he's in North Carolina, moved from Portland.
Biggest cheater in sports, Tom Brady.
Haven't watched since the season started. Joseph, where you been? Welcome back. Glad to have you here. Mario says, who do the Rams want from the Seahawks? Potential draft capital, maybe? Seahawks have a lot of draft picks. Brian says, welcome to North Carolina, Joseph. So we're making friends within the community here. People get to know each other. That's pretty cool. Predict the score of Sunday's Seahawks versus Chargers game. How is that one going to turn out? Later on, we will preview this game, and I will give you my official score prediction. But want to hear from you guys first. What will the score be for Sunday's game? Jeremy Chuggs, what do you think about this matchup? Before the year, I think this was not a game that would have gotten much attention.
Yep.
Now you have a Chargers team that has not necessarily looked great despite their 4-2 record, and then a Seahawks team that shocked the whole world being 3-3 at this point. This is a sneaky good football game.
Micro Mike's with me. Skankies. The Skankies. It is a sneaky good football game. And I think me and Tyler were talking about earlier, who knows what's going on with Justin Herbert. There's some weird stuff going on. The odds changed last minute for Justin Herbert to get one passing touchdown against the Broncos. Really odd.
Yeah.
My theory, there's more to this Justin Herbert injury than they're letting on. He's got something with his ribs or his shoulder or something. He's hurt in some capacity, and they're not letting it out.
Yeah. And we were talking before the show, Jeremy and I were, about, how do we necessarily approach that you want to go after Justin Herbert, right? I mean, we're not saying that you want to injure him. We would never advocate for that at all. But I do think that you try to make him uncomfortable, get him thinking about his ribs and all that, get him in that position. That's what I would be very aggressive with the pass rush.
I think this is a game that the Seahawks can come in, the Chargers kind of overlook them, and the Seahawks can win this game.
Yeah, they very well could. And being down there in L.A., Chargers don't have much of a fan base.
I can tell you this, J.C. Jackson has not looked all well. It's really going to come down to me, one of the biggest matchups that I want to see, tackles against those defensive ends.
Yeah.
Can y'all stop Khalil Mack? That would be my biggest thing that I'm looking for in the game. Can you stop Khalil Mack from getting to Geno Smith? And
Right.
I think they've done a great job of being able to get Geno out of the pocket, get some rollouts going,
Right.
and get him more comfortable. I think Geno passes pretty well whenever he's rolling out.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we saw that amazing throw that he had, was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
Rolling to his left, had that awesome throw. And you have DK and Tyler Lockett.
Right. Noah Fant played his best game of the year last week. Will Dissly's been good at the tight end spot, so we'll see. Ray says Chargers 31-21. Book checking in from the ATL in Atlanta. Micro Mike says Seahawks 37-34.
That's also true, Aiden. It depends on what Seahawks defense that we see on Sunday.
I liked this past week when they really played the dime and nickel defenses more than they have all season long. And you have a Chargers team that loves to throw the football here. I would think defensively that you're going to come up with a similar game plan to what you did against Arizona. Obviously, Herbert and Kyler Murray are different quarterbacks, but a team that wants to throw the football as much as the Chargers do. Hey, Mark Sanchez is here. And
our guy.
Mark has an avatar now that looks like the butt fumble.
Marky Mark.
Mark, good to see you here. Since Mark's here, what's the happy hour special today? Let's show the world what we are offering here on this fine Wednesday afternoon. Any super chat gets you a shout out, gets you right on the show, and for the mailbag, gets you first in line when we do our mailbag segment. $2, you can ask me or Jeremy Chuggs anything, whatever's on your mind. If you want to talk football, if you want to talk professional wrestling, I don't know, whatever you're feeling. Anything is
Taiwanese
on the table.
MMA.
We'll try. We know how to Google. $5, we'll take a shot. I have the Fireball in hand right here ready to go. $10, we'll chug a beer. I have my Michelob Ultra on hand, the superior light beer. And for every $150 that comes in today, we will take down the boot. So that is what is on the menu.
Our guy Spintendo's in the chat as well. What's up,
Spintendo?
Spintendo?
Checking in from Syracuse. Go Hawks.
And because we have a couple more people rolling in, we have a little bit more of an audience now.
Right.
Let's play a game.
So here's what I want to know, guys. Can you name every Seahawks stadium name? There have been 3 stadiums the Seahawks have played in, but in their current venue, which I'm not going to say because it's part of the game, that name has changed several times.
Oh,
first super chat already coming in from Pablo.
We'll get you up on the screen in just a second.
But here's what I want. Name every stadium name from the 3 stadiums, including the sponsor changes that have gone on. Can you name every single one of all the stadiums they've played in? Let's see what you guys got in the chat, if you can make this happen. Sam, good to see you. former lead producer for this show, Sam Brown, checking in. Good to see you, Sam. Yes, indeed. Pablo with a $20 super chat.
Got to change that really quick. Hold on.
I believe that's a shot for both you and I.
Pour him up.
Pour me another drink. Pour me another round. All right, we're getting them rocking and rolling already here. It's going to be a fun afternoon, I can tell you that much, here on Seahawks Today. This is happy hour. We offer these specials for happy hour that you're not going to get any time of the week because it's the middle of the week. It's hump day. We want to have a good time.
Let's see. Michael has 4 of them.
Okay. Michael, let's see here.
Kingdom, CenturyLink, Quest, Lumen.
Okay. Mark has the Kingdom, CenturyLink, and Lumen. There's still a few more that have not been named yet. Here's the hints. Remember, they've played in 3 stadiums, but there's been several names of the stadiums. So
and one of them, they were borrowing the stadium.
Yeah, they were. It was
a temporary.
It was a temporary stadium. Yes. So there's a little help there.
All right. We're going to go to Pablo's super chat real quick. Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant compared to Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman.
Tariq Woolen is already putting up numbers similar to Richard Sherman. Kobe Bryant.
Mark, you got it. And David.
Mark and David, there we go. They each got it. Spentendo, I see 3 of them on there. There's still a couple more names. Let's see what else you guys got. There is one name that has not been mentioned yet. I need one more name. Let's see who can figure it out, guys. And when I tell you, if I have to tell you before you get it, you're going to say to yourselves, oh, man, really? How did we forget that one?
So, going back to Pablo for 1 second. Tariq Woolen to Richard Sherman, compare. Kobe Bryant to Earl Thomas, I don't know if he's there yet.
Okay, question, Pablo, by the way, on the $20 you spent. Would you like me and Jeremy to each chug a beer, or would you like each of us to take 2 shots? It's your choice, Pablo. If you get back to us, we'll do what you say. If not, then we'll see what Jeremy and I are feeling.
I'm feeling a couple shots.
Think 2 shots each?
If that's cool with you, Pablo.
Pablo, you decide. I'm just the bartender. You are the okay.
I could take 2 shots and you could chug a beer. We can give them.
Well, we could, mix and match a little.
Porque los nos dos.
What do you think, Pablo? Okay, I see Tacoma Dome. No. You guys, I'm shocked that this hasn't been. You guys haven't gotten this yet. Okay. In fact, I'll give another hint on this answer. This was the stadium name. There you go, Jeremy Chugs.
I'll take my 2 shots.
There's one. This was the stadium name between 2002 and 2004. Okay? Oh, Pablo with another $20. He said take 4 shots for each of us. Okay. Oh. And Mark Sanchez sending in $10. Okay.
I owe 3 more shots.
Yeah, keep going. And then I'll take 4 as well after you. Oh, just taking those down. Okay. Should I just tell them at this point?
Why is it so spicy?
There we go. Brian got it. Brian. From 2002 to 2004, it was Seahawks Stadium. There we go, Brian. Good work. So it took us longer. I thought you guys were going to get that a little sooner. But yes, Seahawks Stadium. So we got all the names. So to recap, the answers of today's trivia question. Seahawks Stadium, Quest Field, CenturyLink Field, Lumen Field, the Kingdome, and Husky Stadium were the answers we were looking for. So, Pablo, Here is, I owe you 4 shots. 5? Michael says, does the London Stadium count? No, it does not count because that was a neutral site game. What? Yeah, the Germany one's also a neutral site game. And I believe Tampa Bay is going to be technically the home team in that game. Mark, yes, I love it that you made the butt fumble your avatar. That is wonderful. There's 2. Well, I finished my shots. Another question for you guys. Grade the Seahawks season so far.
It should be nothing less than a B, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, if I told you during the preseason, hey, the Hawks are going to come out and be 4-2 in Week 7,
right?
I bet you none of y'all would believe me.
The fact that they are 3-3 right now, tied for first place. That is, I think.
Oh, 3-3. My bad.
3-3.
My bad.
That is something else. I mean, at this point,
3-3. And if I told you Geno was getting even a little bit of MVP buzz, you would call me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, did Drew Lock get hurt?
Right. And the way that Tariq Woolen has come along.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about him more later.
Which,
I mean, he looks like a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback.
Kudos to
right
Tyler.
now.
He was on the Tariq Woolen train early.
I was. Mark says it's a B plus. Never thought we would be tied for first right now. Jerry says B. Brian says B. Joseph says B plus. David says B. Pablo says B. Michael says B. Ray says B minus.
Book, I see your question in there. If you want to ask a question for later on in the show, use hashtag Seahawks in your comment so I can get it up on screen for you.
Right.
Because we're going to have a mailbag later. Use hashtag Seahawks and we'll be able to get you on screen.
Book says B plus, so the consensus seems like a B.
Yeah, I would say so. Also, if you haven't liked the video yet, we got 75 people watching, only 25 likes.
Yeah, we need about 25 more likes to officially start this show. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Like the video. 25 likes away from starting the show.
Geno's on an absolute tear. And, I mean, you were saying before the season he had a good chance to at least be decent because of the weapons the Seahawks have. Because they have DK, because they have Tyler Lockett.
I said, so this is what I said before the season. Jeremy can back me up on this, and you all in the chat would probably back me up on this too, was that I said with Geno Smith that with the weapons there, the number one goal for him is to take care of the football, not make mistakes, get the ball in the hands of playmakers. And he's done just that. He's been the most accurate quarterback in the NFL to begin the season. Now, is he throwing for 400 yards every week? No, but they're not asking him to do that. Geno is doing everything that's been asked to him so far at this point. I like what I've seen from Geno Smith. The only way that we're going to see Drew Lock this year is if Geno Smith gets hurt or if he just goes a whole 180. The way he's playing, he's earned the right not only to be, if he continues at this rate, Geno Smith will earn the right to be the starter next season as well.
And he's looked way better than Russell Wilson this year.
Way better. Oh, yeah.
Like, every day, that trade looks 10 times better. Michael, I see your question right there. You used hashtag NFL. One more reminder for y'all folks. Hashtag Seahawks to get on the show. Hashtag Seahawks.
So I put these numbers on our community tab the other day, comparing Russell Wilson and Geno Smith. Listen to this, Chugsy. Geno Smith, his numbers for the year: 73.4 completion percentage, 1,502 yards, 10 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 3-3 record, including being Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Russell Wilson's statistics: 58.6 completion percentage, 1,142 yards, 6 TDs, 3 interceptions, a 2-4 record, including a loss to the Seahawks. So,
yikes.
How about that? The numbers there. Geno has been better than Russell in every single statistic. Literally every one at this point. Awesome. I love it for Geno. How can you not be happy for Geno Smith? Even non-Seahawk fans have to be rooting on this Seahawks team and be happy for Geno Smith and how this season has gone. It's been one of the best stories, I think, in the entire NFL at this point.
I think so. I mean, he's done great.
We are at 88 live viewers, 90, and 36 likes. We need 14 more to officially start this show. Book wants to know a random question. How you boys doing, Ty and Chugs? Book, I am feeling wonderful today. It is good to be here. Nowhere I'd rather be than with the Seahawk fans here on Seahawks Today. Jeremy Chugs, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great today. We had a great lunch. It's one of our coworkers' birthdays today. We had a little bit of Torchies action. So, I mean, feeling great today. Love being on Seahawks with my boy Ty. And love being with the 12s. I love Wednesdays. Wednesday's one of my favorite days. And also, we have off on Fridays. So Wednesdays is almost like
this is our Thirsty Thursday.
Wednesdays is like you're over the hump and I can see the weekend, you know?
Right.
Because we work Sundays obviously for game days.
Right.
We have off Fridays and Saturdays. When you're on Wednesday, you can like see the weekend. It's right there.
Yes.
It's right there.
Mark Sanchez with another super chat coming in. $10. Shots for the Russ trade. This trade makes up for the Adams trade. Mark, I'm with you. I am with you. I will gladly take a shot for that Russ trade.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, man. To think that, okay, you know, hindsight's 20/20, obviously. But if you would have told me that Russell Wilson was going to play this bad, Geno Smith would play this good, and you would get all that draft capital, and what that draft capital turned into, just unbelievable. Here's a shot for you, Mark, in honor of the trade.
All right, guys, 8 likes away from starting the video. I believe in y'all. I know we're going to get it. So let's tell them what's coming up on today's video.
Spintendo says, I've heard that Seahawks Today is the best chat sports production. People are talking.
Oh, my guy, Mark.
I still owe another shot for Mark, too, and now that's one for Chugsy as well.
We had a great time Sunday night trolling Cowboys fans.
This is a shot for Chugs. Had a lot of fun Sunday night. Mark, I'm sorry that we had to leave early. We were kicked out of the studio on Seahawks. I will never allow that to happen again as long as I'm in charge here in the channel. I'm glad that you were still taken care of. Chugsy and the Eagles channel had you taken care of. But as long as I'm here on Seahawks Today on game days, we're not leaving until you guys say we're leaving.
We're not leaving.
That's how it is.
We're not effing leaving.
I'm laying down the law right now that this is your show. This is how we're going to do things.
Laying the wood.
Mark, shot to you. Look, you know, people doubt us sometimes. You know, I mean, Chugs and I, we've always been the type of guys that people counted against us, and we just proved them wrong from every single bit. Whether it's
a true underdog story.
We are the true underdog story. Seahawks Today is an underdog story, and we're going to continue to fight for you. We're not going to let, like, Justin, the Cardinals fan, come in here and talk crap, and I'm not going to mention anything about his mom today. I'll be nice.
Hey, you can drink any time on the clock, but if you're going to drink with a Seahawk.
Drink with a Seahawk, yes. Cheers. Okay. I need 4 more likes to officially start this show. 4 likes away. Who's got my 4 likes? Here's what's coming up on the show today. Seahawks news and rumors. We're going to be talking about possibly trading for Cam Akers. Also, we will talk about Tariq Woolen winning the NFC Defensive Player of the Week award. We got our live Q&A mailbag. Send in your questions with the hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, and you'll get right to the front of the line. And then we'll also preview the Seahawks versus Chargers game. I know that says Saints on screen. That was a couple weeks ago. Don't worry about that. We're playing the Chargers this week. It's all good. Doom writes in, Sidney Jones and the 3rd-round pick for Shaq Barrett. Let's see. For Shaq Barrett and a 3rd-round pick? What do you think, Chubbs?
So Sidney Jones in the 3rd for Shaq Barrett. I don't think
I don't think that's going to get it done.
Yeah, and I also don't think Tampa Bay are going to be sellers.
No.
I think
it's one Doom. That's an idea where if you're the Seahawks and you can get Shaq Barrett for that, yeah, you'd take that. I don't see Tampa taking that deal. So, Doom, thanks for the question. But
now it's right.
There we go. Now it's Chargers week. See, stuff happens on this show, folks. We're real with you, okay? Just how things go sometimes. We did pass 50 likes, so we can officially start the show. Let's show the Super Chat menu one more time. The happy hour specials today. We're at $67 right now. We are, let's see, quick math, that's about, $83 away from the boot? Every $10, we chug a beer. $5, take a shot. $2, you can ask me or Jeremy Chugs anything, and any Super Chat gets you a shout-out. Also gets you to the front of the line for our mailbag coming up here in a bit. What did you say? Did you say we should do the mailbag first? What were you saying to me?
I was saying we're going to answer Doom's question.
Oh, Doom. We'll talk more about that on the mailbag. Okay, that's what Jeremy was saying. By the way, subscribers, we are getting close to 30,000 on the channel. I believe we are going to get there this weekend. And when we do, I am going to take a Gatorade bath. Need your help to get there. I'm going to put the subscribe link in the chat, and then we will get going with the show as promised. Here is the subscribe link. I want everybody to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Mark, I see your super chat. We will answer that in the Q&A coming up later on. But let's go ahead and get to Seahawks Today Live here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Okay, perfect. We are getting so close to 30,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today. I think we're going to get there this week, but I need your help to get there. And when we get there, as promised, you asked for it, I'll deliver a Gatorade bath. Need 264 more subscribers to get there. If you're already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and type me. Show yourselves out. We love you. We appreciate you here on Seahawks Today, and we'll get started with today's show. Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will cover the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, those involving possibly bringing in Cam Akers to the Seahawks. Also, Tariq Woolen has been given an award by the National Football League. We'll tell you what that is and dive into all that more in just one moment. We begin with Cam Akers, the young running back for the Los Angeles Rams. And CBS Sports has named Seattle as a top landing spot for the Rams running back. And what's interesting about all of this is you have a guy in Cam Akers that's not happy. He's not getting the playing time that he wants there in Los Angeles. And even though they won the Super Bowl last year, he's been kind of forgotten about. He's been kind of pushed to the side of sorts. And so where will he end up next? It does seem like the idea of him being traded within the division might be a stretch, but if he were released, which has been talked about, that seems like an easy move. And one thing I'll say, too, before we dive into what CBS Sports had to say about this, I keep hearing people say, well, you already have Kenneth Walker. That's true. We're not saying that Cam Akers would come in and start over Kenneth Walker. Not at all, quite frankly. But in this league, you have to have multiple backs. Cam Akers would be clearly your number 2 back and would be a very good one at that. Here's what Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports had to say in regards to the idea of bringing in Akers to Seattle. No one likes a good run game like Pete Carroll. But with Rashad Penny out for the year, they could use another insurance/complimentary option alongside rookie Kenneth Walker III, who's already providing explosiveness as a situational ball carrier. Offensive coordinator Shane Waldron was the Rams' pass game coordinator during Akers' rookie year. So with that, trade probably not going to happen because not only is it rare to have the intra-division trades, but do you really want to help out the Rams and make them better? Maybe not. Sign that seems like an easy move. If he is released and becomes a free agent option, then you'll take him. You look at the Seahawks backfield right now. Kenneth Walker III has been tremendous as a rookie this year. DJ Dallas hasn't gotten as much time as I expected him to be a third down back option. He looked really good in the preseason, but hasn't really earned the playing time much, even with the injury to Rashad Penny. And then Tony Jones, of course, was just picked up within the last couple of weeks. So with that, I would add Cam Akers if the opportunity comes about where he is available as a free agent. I don't know about trading for him, but I would add him if he's a free agent. So let's just say the word add. Forget about the trade or free agency aspect of it. Just straight up. Do you want Cam Akers in Seattle or not? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it and let me know one way or the other. Would you bring in Cam Akers, A for ad, P for pass? Let me know. So let's get to know Cam Akers a little bit more here. Akers missed most of 2021 with a torn Achilles after starting 3 games in the Super Bowl run last year for Los Angeles. And at the heart of the issue between him and the Rams coaching staff is philosophy and how he is being used, essentially, under McVay. And according to Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, he says that it's unlikely that Akers will ever play for the Rams ever again, that he's already played his last down. The career statistics for Cam Akers at this point in time, you go back to 2020, his rookie year, he was very solid with 625 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry. Last year, he got injured very early on, only played in 1 game, had 5 carries for 3 yards, but was a part of that Super Bowl run, came back in time for the postseason. And then in 2022, played in 5 games, had 51 carries for 151 yards and a touchdown with a 3-yard average in the time that he's played this year. Now, let's go back and look at that playoff run that he was a part of last year for Los Angeles. As you can see, the numbers are not earth-shattering by any means. As you go back, his best game was that first one probably against Arizona or the San Francisco game. I mean, he hasn't been a true number 1 option necessarily, but he can be a really good number 2 option as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Cam Akers, and that he's proven that he can be an asset, quite frankly. Maybe not your number 1 guy, but I would see him as a very good complement to Kenneth Walker III, potentially speaking. And you also have to think, too, are you going to bring Rashad Penny back after another injury? He'll be a free agent. Maybe this is your time to move on from Penny and go ahead and start looking towards the future with Cam Akers here potentially. So something to think about there. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use the promo code Seahawks125. They'll give you a 125% deposit bonus. You put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free, and you can even bet on this weekend's NFL action. You can bet on college football, NBA, MLB playoffs. The odds for this weekend, the Seahawks about a touchdown underdog with a missed extra point in there. 6 points is the margin with the Chargers favored at home and the over-under set at 51. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125 to start betting today. Tariq Woolen was recognized as the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week this week, as Woolen had an outstanding performance this past weekend, and he is on a tear. Let's put it that way. The statistics for Tariq Woolen of what he was able to do against Arizona, let me bring those up for you. I mean, the fact that he was this good, and he's just a rookie, a day 3 selection at that. These numbers that you're seeing on the right of my screen here, on your screen, to your left actually, you would take those for any player. And, I mean, these are numbers of all-pro caliber corners here, folks. I mean, that's how good Tariq Woolen has played. An interception, 5 tackles, 1 pass defended. PFF grades, the nerds even liked what Tariq Woolen put together with an 84.6 coverage grade and an 83.6 defensive grade. I mean, just outstanding of what he was able to do. And he's been getting better and better every single week. So then that becomes the next question. I want to know, if he looks like an all-pro on Sunday, is that going to continue? Is this an all-pro season ahead for Tariq Woolen? Are we getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here? We might be. But I'm very curious. If he plays like he did Sunday, and we see more of that, I mean, 4 interceptions already. If he keeps those interceptions going, then we have to have that discussion. Can Tariq Woolen be an all-pro cornerback this year? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know in the comments section if you think he can or not. Y for yes, N for no. More on the statistics for Tariq Woolen this year. 4 interceptions, as mentioned. He also has 2 fumble recoveries. Already has scored a touchdown, 22 tackles in 5 passes defended. I mean, those numbers have been fantastic for him at this point in time. And then those PFF grades, here's where they stand right now. The overall grade, solid, 72.4. His tackle grade, I mean, and especially for talking about cornerbacks and tackling, right? I mean, a 76.2? Take that. Defense, 71.7. Run defense, 62.8. Needs some work there, but nonetheless, everything else looks really good. The numbers do not lie on Tariq Woolen. He has been great this year, and even with that said, I still think his best football is still ahead of him. That the best is still yet to come with Tariq Woolen. There's still some little things here and there that need work, but for the most part, it's all coming together for the Seahawks young star cornerback. I'm excited. Seahawk fans, get ready. I mean, go ahead and lay everything out on the line. Go all in on the poker table. Put all your chips in on Tariq Woolen because he's been that good, and there's still some more good football left in him. This isn't any fluke by any means. He's been the real deal. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Seattle Seahawks on all those platforms as well as the rest of the National Football League. And I'll see you next time, right here on Seahawks Today. Okay, so that's our first segment in the books. How about that, guys? Tariq Woolen, something else, huh? All right, I have a question for the folks out there. For Jeremy Chuggs in the audience, everybody, I want to know. Would you rather go to jail for 5 years or stay in jail until you could solve a Rubik's Cube? Now, hear me out on this. Here is my thought on this, folks. Although I have never solved a Rubik's Cube, I think I would probably go ahead and take my chances on going to jail until I solved a Rubik's Cube because I believe eventually I would probably stumble upon it and figure it out. It might take me a while, but I would take my chances rather than going to jail for 5 years, quite frankly. So that's how I feel. Jeremy Chuggs, what do you say? What do you think? Would you rather go to jail for 5 years or stay in jail until you can solve a Rubik's Cube?
Ooh. Well, I have never solved a Rubik's Cube before. With that being said, I think I would take my chances with the Rubik's Cube. I don't know. Just knowing at least that I have hope that I can get out sooner than 5 years, right, I feel like would propel me to – and I mean, if you're literally sitting there with just the Rubik's Cube, you got to figure it out at some point.
I mean, you would be all in on trying to get that done.
Book is right. It's not going to take you 5 years. What about if it was 1 year? Then I don't know. I'd still probably do the Rubik's Cube. I think I would.
So Ross says, what type of jail are we talking? So here's what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that this is a jail that is solitary confinement. You can't ask for help from other people to solve the Rubik's Cube for you. You're on your own in this situation. So what do you guys think?
No, Nokia, we do answer questions live. That's what we're about to do in our mailbag.
Yes.
Use hashtag Seahawks in your comment, Nokia, and
or
we
Super
will
Chat.
or Super Chat, and we will answer your questions.
Nokio, you must be new here. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Nokio, let's see. Until I can solve a Rubik's, I already sort of know how. Plus, there's so many skills I can learn in there. Mark says, Rubik's Cube, I solved it in 30 minutes. It's not a special time, but I got it done. Mark, that's 30 minutes faster than me and Jeremy. So, Doom says, go to prison. Use Commissioner to buy an iPad if they allow it, and some do. Watch a YouTube video how to solve it and get released. Book says, you would have to say solve the cube in this amount of time, or you go for 10 instead of 5. What am I feeling? Whoa! That's an aggressive super chat coming in. We'll take your money, though. My egotistical aura says, Niners own you losers. Last time I checked the division, it's tied at 3-3 and a 3-way tie. Seahawks are tied for the division lead. We'll take the money, though. Aura.
Yeah. Thanks, Aura.
We'll take it. So, I mean.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
But I think, wannabe Niner fan, am I right?
Yeah, Michael says he would take the 5 years.
More like the whiners, am I right?
Ooh, got him. Yeah, Michael says whiner fan.
Oh, yeah.
Nokio says, awesome. I've been subbed and watching ever since the 2022 draft.
Hey.
I believe this is my first time making it to a live. Well, welcome. We do
Welcome.
this every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific here on Seahawks Today. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the show.
Super Chat.
Currently, we're at $78 in Super Chats.
Halfway to a boot. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand and we'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer.
Book also says, my first live also. Welcome, Book. Mark checking in, another $5. That's a shot.
Yes, Mark.
Last time I checked, Niners are 1-4
Tell 'em.
in the last 3 years. Yeah,
Tell 'em.
Mark.
Tell him.
Yeah. Mark, keep them honest. I like that. Keep them honest.
God.
Here's to you, Mark, and F the Niners.
F the Niners.
There we go. I like that. Let's show the hold on here. Let's see. How do you feel about Geno's hot streak? That's a lot of words. Use hashtag Seahawks, and I'll get to it in the mailbag.
Yeah. So, Zoe, I think Zoe's your name. If you look up in the comments, people are using hashtag Seahawks in their comment. That's how I can pull it up on the screen so Tyler can answer it for you.
Right.
For Book, for everybody that's new here.
Business, same thing.
Yeah. For Nokio, in your comment, use hashtag Seahawks in your comment, and that's how I can get you up on screen.
Right. It makes things easier for Chugs to sort through.
Or if you want to skip the line, Super Chat, here's our Super Chat happy hour specials, because every Wednesday here on the Seahawks Today Live is a happy hour.
So, yes, and we want to have a happy ending today. So, let's
chill out, Robert Kraft.
So, we are at $83 right now, and we are, at the moment, $67 away from getting to the boot. So I think we're going to get there. $10, we chug a beer. $5, take a shot. $2, you can ask me or Jeremy Chugs anything you want. Doesn't have to be Seahawks related, whatever you guys are feeling. And $2, any super chat gets you right on the show. On the mailbag, gets you to the front of the line, get your questions in as well. So,
all right, there you go.
That's how that works.
There you go. There you go.
People that are new here. Tom, I see your question in as well. Same thing.
You got to use hashtag Seahawks
or super chat to get on the show.
I think we're ready to start.
I'll say this real quick, Jeremy. I'm glad to see we have new people here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love new people.
Saigon, welcome. Good to see you here. Saigon's a regular. I mean, the fact that we're having to stop and explain how we do this, that's a good thing, folks. We're glad to have new people and be a part of this. I'm telling you, you'll want to be here each and every week because we're guaranteed to have a good time. We like to party. This is how we do things.
You ready to start it?
Mailbag time. Get your questions in. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the show. I'm ready. Are you ready, Jeremy Chuck?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. It is Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. It is mailbag time. You have questions, I have answers, and we will get right to them in just one moment. Before we do, you may be asking yourself, how do I get involved on the mailbag show? Well, if you subscribe and turn on notifications and be a part of our live shows, then you can get your mailbag questions in right here on the channel. So subscribe now. We'll be glad to have you here on the channel and get your questions in to be a part of our mailbag every week. First question coming in, a super chat from Pablo. Pablo says, Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant compared to Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman. We have talked about that on the show this week, about the idea of Tariq Woolen and Richard Sherman and the comparisons between the two. And Richard Sherman even pointed out the comparisons of both guys being late-round draft picks that were wide receivers in college that converted to corner, big guys to ball hawks, getting the interceptions and everything. To me, there's more similar between Woolen and Sherman than necessarily Bryant and Earl Thomas. I don't necessarily see the Bryant and Earl Thomas thing, but I do certainly see the Woolen and Sherman thing as far as I'm concerned. But thanks for the question there, Pablo. Doom says, Sidney Jones and a third-round pick for Shaq Barrett. So, Shaq Barrett plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're not going to be sellers. I don't see them making a move at the trade deadline, and I also don't see them accepting that offer. This would be a win for the Seahawks if you get Shaq Barrett, just giving up a third in Sidney Jones, but I don't see the Bucs taking that type of deal. Now, Doom followed that up, though, and says, instead of Shaq Barrett, what about Shaq Thompson for the same trade scenario? I feel like Carolina could be sellers at this point. Carolina is definitely sellers at this point. That seems more reasonable. I like that move. Carolina is desperate. They have been horrible this year, arguably the worst team in the NFL. That, I think, could be done of the same scenario, but just changing up things a little bit. To me, that one I could see happening. Doom, good idea on the follow-up on there, and Shaq Thompson could certainly help this Seahawks team. The GOAT, Mark Sanchez, writes in, if we beat the Chargers, do we go after Burns? Brian Burns is who Mark is referring to. I mean, yeah. I mean, you think about it. Okay. The tank job that some people have talked about, all of that is done sayonara. And that's okay because the Broncos are taking care of getting the high draft pick anyway. And when it comes to Burns, Brian Burns is going to have a high price tag. Okay? He's not going to come cheap. I like Brian Burns. Very talented player. You look at his statistics over the last couple of years, already with 24 tackles and 4 sacks in 2022. Had 9 sacks the last 2 seasons, 7.5 in 2019. Very talented player, but it is going to take a lot to try to bring in Brian Burns. He would help this Seahawks team for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if the Seahawks would make that move, but he would certainly be a help, and he's not going to be cheap. It's going to be a bidding war for if somebody is able to pick him up. I imagine Carolina is going to get quite a few offers. Business writes in, should the Seahawks trade Geno Smith? No, they should not trade Geno Smith. Unless there was some offer they couldn't refuse. Geno has earned the right to be the starting quarterback the rest of the year, barring an injury of some sorts. And if he continues to play like this, next year as well. So I'll say no. I don't think that you should trade Geno Smith. I like what I've seen from Geno. It's been really good at this point. He's used his personnel around him so well. He's been a good fit for this offense. I like what I've seen from Geno Smith. No, you're not trading Geno right now. On the other side, Common wants to know, I love Geno. Can he win the MVP? MVP. Well, let's see. There's a couple of factors that involve the MVP race. One, in this day's NFL, you have to be a quarterback. So he's got that going for him. That checks box number one. Number two, your team has to be a playoff contender. Right now, the Seahawks are tied for first place. So, checks that box. That's 2 for 2. But at this rate, that puts him in the Pro Bowl discussion, whatever they're calling the Pro Bowl now. It puts him in that discussion. But it's not MVP level yet. Now, I'm not saying that he can't be, and that, we could see even more from Geno Smith potentially. At the moment, I don't think he's MVP caliber, but he's within the Pro Bowl discussion. Not saying that can't change, but I wouldn't call him an MVP candidate at the moment. Fact or fiction? Geno Smith is an MVP candidate. If that's true, type T for true. If not, type F for false. Let me know in the comments section. It is our pinned comment today. You like an ad break? If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. T for true, F for false. Ray writes in, #Seahawks. Is it okay I still want to tank? I really want Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Ray, the tank's over. 3 wins, 3-3. It's not happening. It's not a tank. I mean, at worst, this team is going to position themselves to be, I think, at worst case scenario, the end of the top 10 of the draft at this point, right? And at best, you're talking about them potentially making the playoffs. That's not crazy now. Remember, the 7th seed for the last couple of years of this expanded playoff hasn't necessarily been that great of a team. You could make the playoffs potentially as that 7th seed, maybe with an 8-9 record. I don't think that's a reach. So, is 5 more wins possible for this Seahawks team? Yeah. So, they are at the moment closer to the playoffs than they are the number 1 overall pick. But, Ray, forget about the tank because the Broncos are taking care of that for you. That Broncos pick is going to be a better pick than the Seahawks pick right now. So, Ray, the Broncos got that covered. It's okay. You still might get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Book writes, how do you feel about promoting Shane and letting Pete walk? So that's Shane Waldron he's referring to, and, of course, Pete Carroll. I'm not there yet. Shane Waldron, that Niners game, week 2, he coached an awful game. He did a bad job. But to his credit, Shane Waldron has adjusted. The offense has been explosive, and they've been really good ever since. Now, Pete Carroll, as far as letting him walk, I think that Pete Carroll deserves credit for what Shane Waldron's done with this offense and where this team is growing each and every week. I'm not moving on from Pete Carroll. And I know that there are some Seahawks fans out there that would love to let go of Pete Carroll and say bye-bye. It's not the time for that right now. I don't think so. I think that conversation book is still a little more premature. Could Shane Waldron potentially replace Pete Carroll and be the next head coach of the Seahawks when Pete's ready to move on? That could happen. But I don't see that happening next year anyway, as far as I'm concerned. But thanks for the question, Book. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. You go to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code Seahawks125. You'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down. You get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. You can even bet on some action this weekend involving your Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. You can bet on other games across the NFL, college football, NBA, MLB playoffs going on right now as well. It's all in one place. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. The odds for this weekend, Seattle a 6-point underdog with a over-under at 51 is where that's set. So what are you going to do? What's your bet going to be when you place that at chatsports.com/bet? Promo code Seahawks125. I want to know what your bet's going to be. Tell me in the comment section what that bet is. Next question comes from Zua. Wants to know, how do you feel about Geno's hot streak? He's looking like a $20 million plus QB. You think he will re-sign or will he take the money and run elsewhere? So, Here's what I think is going to happen. If I were to rub my crystal ball of sorts right here, I would guess that you bring Geno back next year on a 1 or 2 year type deal. If there's a quarterback that you like, whether that's a C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, whoever it may be, you still draft your quarterback, but you don't have to throw them right into the fire. That you play Geno until that quarterback is ready to go. And if there's a quarterback that, if you don't like any of those quarterbacks, you're not in position to draft those, then you go with Geno for another year. So I think that's the plan. I don't know if Geno's going to get $20 million on the market, but I think that Geno's going to be back next year. They find a way to make it work, and they probably still get a quarterback for the future as well in the process. Mark Sanchez is back with another question, writes in, shots for you both, and I absolutely love watching the Broncos train wreck. Cheers, guy. Yes. Man, I mean, I'm not petty. That's not who I am. But I got to tell you, it's almost, and the key is almost, not all the way there, it's almost as entertaining watching the Broncos be as pitiful as they are and much of a dumpster fire as they are as it is seeing the Seahawks win. I almost get as much entertainment out of the Broncos' failures and destruction than I do seeing the Seahawks play well right now. I mean, I know that might sound bad. I say almost, not all the way there, but it certainly has been entertaining to see as far as I'm concerned. Next question comes in from Suthith. Writes in hashtag Seahawks, hashtag we love Jones. I love you too. Thoughts on Jamal Adams' future? Maybe trade. Also, can Kenneth be the next Barry Sanders? Hold on. Barry Sanders, the greatest running back of all time. I'm not putting that on Kenneth Walker. That would be quite the expectation. So we're not going there. We're not touching there. But nonetheless, Kenneth Walker looks great. Jamal Adams' future. Look, here's the deal with Jamal Adams. We broke down this situation a couple weeks ago. And basically, there's not much of a market for Jamal Adams elsewhere. I mean, who's going to want to take on that contract and all the injury issues that come with Jamal Adams? I think that you're going to bring back Jamal Adams next year. Hopefully he gets healthy and see where things go from there. I can't imagine you would get too much for him and all the money you still owe him no matter what. It just doesn't look like it's going to work for somebody to take on Jamal Adams. Maybe somebody shocks me and makes a move, but I would guess that Jamal Adams is back in Seattle next year. Alien writes, I'm shocked the Seahawks are 3-3. Can they make the playoffs? Well, it's an expanded playoff field from what it was a couple years ago. And, I mean, we saw, 10, 11 years ago, the Seahawks won the division with a 7-9 record. I think the NFC is such a mess right now. I mean, there is not a great team besides the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly is the only great team in the entire conference. I think that final playoff spot could be an 8-9 team. Could Seattle win 5 more games and be one of those teams? Yeah, it's possible. I think they could make the playoffs. Will they? I don't know. Still remains to be seen. But they're getting better every week. The offense is coming along. They've been explosive, been one of the best offenses in the league. The defense just put together its best performance of the year last week against Arizona. Things are on the right track. If they continue to get better and better every week, watch out. Now this week, I think they're about to play their toughest game of the year so far against this Chargers team. So we'll see as they take on better competition how things go. Remember, you still have teams like Kansas City on the schedule and several others. But will they make the playoffs? Too early to tell for me. What say you, though? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no, if the Seahawks will make the playoffs. A few more questions coming in. Junior wants to know, should the Seahawks trade for DJ Moore? Another Panthers player that is on the trade block. DJ Moore, I think, is outstanding. I really do. And his contract for a player of his caliber, considering how much receivers have gotten paid, and Seahawk fans know firsthand with how much DK Metcalf got paid, it's not that bad, really. And remember, DJ Moore has been doing this with what has been just a mess in a quarterback room. Think about who all he's had to play with in his short career in Carolina. Baker Mayfield, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, P.J. Walker. That's like 5 quarterbacks in 3 years. And he's still been productive and put up great numbers. You put him in a competent system like Seattle, watch out. But even with that said, as much as I like DJ Moore, the Seahawks have other concerns to address. They're pretty dang good when it comes to the receiving corps. As much as I like DJ, there's other things. If I'm going to make a trade, I'd be trading for than DJ Moore. So I would say no, but it's one of those reluctant no's. It's not a diss on DJ at all. It's just there are other areas of need that are a bigger concern for the Seahawks team as far as I'm concerned. Raw Hector writes in, should we focus on defense or offense in this year's draft? I would say it's offensive line, and then it's anything you could get on the defense after that. Those are the things I'd look at. Defensive line, linebackers. There's got to be other options to look at there. So I think that's what the Seahawks will do. They do have plenty of picks because they have some picks from Denver as well. I believe, and I may be wrong on this, but I believe it's 9 picks in next year's draft that Seattle has. So I would say the focus would be on defense and then the offensive line. But, you know, the way I look at it, and I've said this and I'll say it again, that if you're in a position, if you have a top pick, which looks like that Denver pick right now, if you have the choice of you start your draft with Will Anderson from Alabama is the first player you take. Doesn't matter what quarterback's available, Will Anderson is that good. If he's gone and there's a quarterback you like, then you go get the quarterback. But then after that, priority is defense and offensive line. So that would be my draft strategy, but still a ways to go before we get to the draft at that point. But thanks for the question there, Raw Hector. One more question before we go on the mailbag this week. Mark writes in again, #Seahawks, with the restructured Gabe Jackson contract, is this a clear-cut sign that are going to make a trade, free up $1.68 million in cap? I think that's a good possibility. I think you're on to something there, Mark, that we do see them make a move there with Gabe Jackson as far as I'm concerned. I think that seems to be a good possibility that we see something going on there to try to free up that cap space and figure something out there. But thanks for the question there, Mark. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @TylerJonesLive, talking about your Seahawks, talking about the rest of the National Football League and all those social media platforms all the time. Love talking to you guys there, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. So, we had a few super chats come in. I owe several shots. And another. You want some shots, Jeremy? Okay. Today is National Friends Day. Jeremy Chuggs is my buddy. He's my good friend. And another super chat from Michael coming in. We'll get back to National Friends Day here in just a second. Michael, I watched a mock draft today, and they had my Hawks pick Myles Murphy at 7. Thought on the pick, Murphy can play. I like Myles Murphy. You like Myles Murphy?
Yeah, great. I believe the defensive lineman from Clemson.
Yes.
Shows a lot of promise, but I'd have to watch more film on him. You know, mid-season. I like the pick. He
Clemson's known for their D-line. They've sent some talent.
I actually might like.
Cheers. It's a Friends Day, my friend. A friend in me. You got a friend in me. I don't know the rest either.
But I think he's good. I actually kind of like the other lineman they have, Brian Breesy.
Yeah.
That defense, he's more of like an interior defensive tackle. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, pass rush is the biggest. My biggest area of concern. would be pass rush and then linebacker for the Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
Personally.
Business with a $5 super chat.
I'll go put that up.
Put it on the screen for me, please. $5. That's another shot. Golly. You guys trying to get me hammered on a Wednesday. I like it.
We're
$42 away from the boot. Business writes, a first-round quarterback will be worth so much money to the city. I've worked nearly every home game since the Super Bowl win. Who to draft, and will Geno get in the way? So we were kind of talking about this on the mailbag. And business, you're right. I mean, these first-round quarterbacks, like everybody gets excited. I was in Kansas City. I was living there and covering the Chiefs when Patrick Mahomes got drafted. And everybody liked Alex Smith. But when Mahomes got drafted, it was like, oh, man, let's go. You know, everybody could not wait until Mahomes played. And I think you would have that effect here in Seattle where Geno Smith, good quarterback. He's won the fan base over. Everybody likes Geno, and everybody's rooting for Geno. But then if there is that one quarterback that you draft and you find, and you say, who do you draft? I like C.J. Stroud best. Then I like Bryce Young. And then I like Will Levis. That's my top three. If you get one of those guys, then you're getting excited. Geno's still your guy until they're ready. No need to rush them. And then you throw them out there. That's what I think, Jeremy.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say the same thing of like comparing it to.
If I could unmute myself.
Yes.
It's funny you say that because I was going to say the same thing, comparing it to the Alex Smith situation in Kansas City.
Yeah.
To where if you draft a guy, then business. Come on.
Business. Jeremy's from Houston. He's an Astro.
If you draft a guy next year in the first round, like a Bryce Young or a C.J. Stroud, I think it's a perfect opportunity for the Seahawks to do the same thing that the Kansas City Chiefs did. Do not put any pressure on him. You don't start him the first year. He sits out 1 year. He learns behind Geno Smith, who is a smart quarterback.
Right.
He's a really smart quarterback. He's been in a couple systems. He's been through multiple offensive coordinators, been to a couple teams. So he can really help that young quarterback grow. And, I mean, even though it would suck because Geno would know, I have one more season, it's also, hey, Geno, you have one more season to start and show your worth, kind of like Alex Smith did with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he got the job with Washington.
And the Seahawks were able to get, in the Alex Smith trade, Kendall Fuller, who ended up being a starting corner out of it.
Yeah,
So,
or the Chiefs.
the Chiefs did, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what you don't do is you do what the Steelers did with this whole Kenny Pickett situation of, we got a Cardinal fan in there? Okay. Better not be Justin. Better not. Arizona Cardinal fan, you better not be pretending to be Justin. Justin, I got a bone to pick with Justin. Anyways, what you don't want to do is what the Steelers did, where they didn't have a replacement with Big Ben retired. And they had plenty of time to find a replacement for Big Ben. And what do you know? They draft Kenny Pickett. And then they also, of course, bring in Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky looks bad. And now they throw Pickett in. Pickett, was thrown right into the fire. This is nothing against Kenny Pickett, but he was not put in the best situation to succeed. Imagine, now granted, Pickett didn't come out last year, but what if they would have drafted a quarterback in Pittsburgh last year, sat behind Ben, and then took over after sitting behind a veteran Ben like that? That's the way you're supposed to do it, and that's the way most of these quarterbacks have been successful, is sitting behind and learning from. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Most of these guys all sat and waited and got comfortable before they were thrown to the fire. Let's see. So, business, I hope that answers your question. That would be the ideal situation, I think.
Charles, that's a hilarious comment.
The Dischargers. Charles, yeah.
The Dischargers,
So,
wow.
a little preview, by the way, for Sunday. We had a meeting today with our live production staff, and I had this idea. I think that with the Seahawks playing the Chargers, I might get like a shot collar or a taser of some sorts, and based on how many numbers we get in Super Chats, you guys can taser me or shock me with a dog collar or something like that.
Oh.
That's a little tease for
some of the viewers might like that.
Yeah. So, just something to think about there. Biggest surprise so far for the Seahawks.
Still $43 away.
43 away from the boot.
From the boot.
I'll put that in the chat right now.
And you know what? I'll take the first boot, Tyler.
Okay. 43 away from the Jeremy boot.
If I remember correctly, last time I was on Seahawks Live and did a boot, I broke my record.
You did.
Whoa, what was it, 7.6, 7.5?
I think it was about 7.6, yeah. Ravens fans will donate to shock Tyler.
Spintindo Jones, please don't get tased.
Spintindo. You don't want me to get tased?
Saigon, yeah, I agree. Woolen was a huge shock of not that he played well, but how well he's played. I think Tyler and me both thought he could turn into a really good corner, but we thought it would take 1 or 2 years because corners it sometimes takes a little bit to get used to the NFL,
right,
going up against really good receivers, but he's been awesome.
Yeah, he has. Biggest surprise so far. For me, it's Geno. I mean, not that he's winning the job, but the fact that he has played as high a level as he has.
Yeah. You can head out. I got the last segment.
Yeah, I was just going to grab it, come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Rolly.
I would say Geno's probably been the biggest surprise. What about you, Jeremy? Biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise? I would say how well Charles Cross has held up.
Yeah?
I think I was worried from the preseason games we did with his performance, but
all those penalties he had in that Bears preseason game?
I think he's brought it together and done a little bit better,
Oh, Mark Sanchez. $5. TJ, I have a bet for you. If the Hawks make the playoffs, I will buy a $500 super chat. Okay. Mark, $500 if they make the playoffs.
Joey W., what's it like going to a game I never know living in Australia? Sorry to hear that, Joey. From down under. You gotta come to one. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine being at an amazing concert and everybody's into it, but
it's, put it this way too, it's like you all are family, but you've never known each other.
It's like being at an amazing concert, everybody's into it,
Mark.
but also you add suspense.
Right.
So you have the fun, you have the awesome, you have the hype, but then you also have suspense where it's like, what's going to happen?
Matthew, he says biggest surprise, we're 3-3 and tied for first.
Yeah.
Fair point. Let's see, what else are we saying in the chat? I see Cross and Lucas.
Ooh, hold on 1 second. Looks like there's something going on over there. Let me go check on them. You keep on answering this. I'll be right back, TJ.
Okay, so Jeremy is going to be back here in just a second. But I want to hear from you guys. What's been the biggest surprise so far for the Seahawks in 2022? And in just a moment, we have one more segment to get to. We'll preview this Seahawks and Chargers game. Business says the biggest surprises in order are 1, Geno Smith, 2, Tariq Woolen, and 3, Abraham Lucas. Okay. Abraham Lucas. He's been steady at that right tackle spot. He's been steady Eddie there at that point. So, Phillies are losing. Weren't they down like 4-0? Or 4-0, sorry. The other way around, I meant, yeah. Let's see. I see the entire rookie class is one answer. Ray says we tied for first. Doesn't matter. 5-way tie for 7th seed. Let's see here. What else? What's been the biggest surprise to you guys? Book says Woolen and Uchenna. Uchenna was another guy I was high on, too. I really liked that signing, bringing him over from the Chargers, and now he makes his return. Raw Hector, I have tickets to the Seahawks versus Chargers game. Going to waste $69, nice, worth of beer. Well, I mean, if you spent that on Seahawks Today, that'd be a lot cheaper than any of the beer you could buy on at the game. So you could drink with us. We are $38 away from a booth. That's it. $38 away. Who's got it for me? Somebody's got $38 for a Jeremy Chugs boot. Who is going to give it? Who's going to cough it up? Who's going to give it to Jeremy? Somebody's going to do it. I think it's on the way here. Coming up, we're going to preview.
Who's going to give it to me?
We're going to preview the Seahawks versus Chargers game in just a moment. And we'll go over the latest injury report as well on the other side. So stay with us. Cheers to everybody out there. And we will go ahead and get to our final segment here on Seahawks Today Live. It is Seahawks Today, sponsored by Mint Mobile. Plan starting at just $15 a month on America's largest 5G network. Start saving today at mintmobile.com/chatsports. On today's show, we will preview the Seattle Seahawks matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers. Coming up this Sunday, we will tell you everything you need to know and also look at the injury report, my keys to victory, and a prediction as well for Sunday's game. I look at this matchup for Seattle taking on Los Angeles, and for me, I think so far at this point in the season, this is the toughest test of the year for the Seahawks through 7 weeks. It's taking on a Chargers team that is so talented, that has a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, that has some good weapons around him, a defense that got a lot better this offseason here, and I think they're better than what their record even indicates. They lost a game to the Jags where, I mean, everything didn't go right. It was a bad night. A Chiefs game that was very close, that could have gone either way. For me, this Chargers team is the real deal, and the Seahawks will have their work cut out for them. But the Seahawks have played so well in their own rights, they are not going to lay down for this one. This, I think, is a sneaky good game, and the Seahawks have a chance to make some noise and possibly pull off the upset. 6-point underdog, that's par for the course this year for this Seahawks team. They've been underdogs in almost every game this season. So being a 6-point dog again, that shouldn't faze this Seahawks team. They've embraced that underdog role this season. Over under 51, expect a high-scoring game. A Seahawks team that likes to put up points, same with the Chargers as well. Who do you got, though, in this one? Are you going with the Seahawks, or are you going with the Chargers? It's okay, I won't hold it against you if you go with the Chargers here. If you like the Seahawks to win, type C for Seattle. If you like the Chargers to win, type LAC, not for the Clippers, but for the Chargers. Put it in the comments section. Who do you got? Seahawks or Chargers? Let me know. Let's start with the injury report. Here's the players that are questionable for Sunday's game. It includes Al Woods, Artie Burns, Gabe Jackson, Penny Hart, and Isaiah Dunn. All of those guys we'll see. But good news for the Seahawks is that there are a number of players that are coming off PUP and IR. They include Tre Brown, Tyler Ott, LJ Collier, Jon Rhattigan, Alton Robinson, and John Reid. Now, their status at this point in time still remains to be seen, and also dependent on how much they practice this week. But nonetheless, just the fact that those guys are getting off of the PUP and the IR list is a step in the right direction. So we'll see where those guys go, but the Seahawks, it appears, getting healthier as the season goes on. So that's a good thing there on that front. All right, my keys to victory for the Seattle Seahawks. First and foremost, got to have a fast start. This Seahawks team has done a really good job of starting games on a good note, of setting the tone for the rest of the game. In fact, what we've seen from this team, they have scored more in the first quarter. They've had more scores in first quarter drives than any other team in the NFL. 82% to be exact. All gas, no brakes for this Seahawks team on the fast start front. But then, as much as they've played well offensively to start games, it's been a 180, the complete opposite, on defense. The Seahawks defense has allowed scores on 64% of opponents' first quarter drives, which is the worst in the NFL. So, basically, to put in the simplest of terms, the Seahawks, sweet, touchdown, 7 points. Then the other end, oh no, we're tied at 7-7 all of a sudden here. So, yes, not only do the offense need to continue to do what they do of getting off to fast starts, but the defense also has to start doing a better job and not letting teams go toe-to-toe with them to begin games. Number 2 on my keys to victory for the Seahawks, got to create turnovers. And I know that feels obvious for any NFL game you're talking about. Obviously, you have to create turnovers and win the turnover battle to win. But here's some statistics I want to specifically point to for this Seahawks team this weekend. Did you know the Seahawks defense has forced 12 fumbles this season, which is the best in the entire National Football League? They've done a really good job at that. We've seen Kobe Bryant get involved and force fumbles in there. We've seen Tariq Woolen with a couple fumble recoveries. This defense has done a really good job of being ball hawks and being aggressive, of stripping and causing turnovers on that side of the ball. So you got to continue to force fumbles there. Keep that thing going. Now, besides just the fumbles, here's something to think about too. Justin Herbert has done a really good job of winning football games when they win the turnover battle. Get this. Since last year, the Chargers are undefeated, 9-0, when Justin Herbert does not throw an interception. So, not only do you have a situation where the Seahawks need to find themselves of creating turnovers through fumbles, as they've done well, but if you're going to beat the Chargers, you got to force Justin Herbert to throw some INTs there. That's the recipe, as you can see. What I wonder, though, with as good as Geno Smith has played, and Justin Herbert still recovering from this rib injury here, who's going to have a better game Sunday? Is it going to be Geno? Or is it going to be Justin Herbert? What say you? Let me know in the comment section. If it's Geno, type GS. If it's Justin Herbert, type JH. Who has the better game Sunday? Let me know. GS for Geno Smith, JH for Justin Herbert. Let me know in the comments section. Today's show is presented by Mint Mobile, and Mint Mobile is offering a great deal just for viewers of Seahawks Today. If you go to mintmobile.com/chatsports, you can start saving with plans at just $15 a month on America's largest 5G network, and you can switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G LTE, whichever one is better. Don't have to worry about turning on airplane mode or any of that. Mint Mobile's got you covered either way at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Look, times are tough. We're all trying to save any dollar we can at this point in time. Why not start saving on your phone plan with Mint Mobile? Ryan Reynolds, great actor. He owns the company, actually. So here's my proposal to you. Why don't you start saving today at mintmobile.com/chatsports and tell them that Tyler Jones sent you. You'll be glad you did. Couple more for you. Number 3, got to limit penalties. And this one, kind of like creating turnovers, kind of goes without saying, but the Seahawks have a penalty problem right now. They are being undisciplined at times. It's cleanup time in Seattle. Here's what I mean by this. Seattle right now is ranked second in the league in penalties, 58 so far through 6 weeks. And in penalty yardage, 435 yards. So it's not just the ticky-tack 5-yard delay games here and there. No, we're talking about the holdings, the personal fouls, the pass interference, all those things. All of it has to be cleaned up. This is a collective thing that we're talking about here. Both sides of the ball have to do better when it comes to penalties, as far as I'm concerned. If you want less penalties, like the video, I've been told from my sources in Seattle that if you like today's video, that the Seahawks are much less likely to have penalties, that they are going to do a better job, that they're going to clean things up a bit. If you like today's video, that's how that works. It's science. Number 4 on my list, Seahawks need to establish the run. And I got to tell you, I've been very impressed with the Seahawks run game the last couple weeks. And so this one here is got to keep a good thing going, right? Here's the statistics. Remember, there was such concern about what this team was going to do when Rashad Penny went down, and if Kenneth Walker was ready to answer the call, and he has been that and then some. In the 2 weeks since Rashad Penny has gone down, the numbers have been fantastic for Kenneth Walker. Close to 100 yards last week. Geno Smith also ran the ball well with 6 carries for 48 yards. And then in that New Orleans game, you had 54 yards from Penny before he got hurt. But Kenneth Walker had 88 yards on the ground, including a 69-yard touchdown run. Geno Smith, he's not going to be Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray out there and running for 70-plus yards, but he's going to get you an extra first down or 2, and that's all you can ask for. What you'd like to see is DJ Dallas get more involved and do a better job. If DJ Dallas can't be your number 2 option, then you got to start looking at whether it's the Cam Akers of the world or making a move to find another running back of some sort. I think this move this week is going to be a big one for DJ Dallas, make or break, because if he does not have a breakout performance of some sorts, then they are going to have to look at other options to be that number 2 running back. Travis Homer should be back soon, but you can't be content. You can't let Kenneth Walker overwork himself too much. That's asking for another running back injury if they don't find another number 2 running back as far as I'm concerned. Are you rooting for the Seahawks on Sunday? I know you are, but I want you to prove it. If you're rooting for Seattle, 12th man, stand up, get rowdy, get loud in the comments section, and type FLA in the comments section if you're rooting for the Seahawks. Be honest, get in there, show some love for your Seahawks and FLA. Subscribe to Seahawks Today, where we have all the latest breaking news, rumors, live shows on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, and watch parties for every Seattle Seahawks game, including this weekend's matchup between the Seahawks and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the game starts about 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific. We're going to get going about 30 minutes beforehand, do a little pregame show, and then afterwards we'll do a postgame show, react to it in real time, and everything. So you'll want to be here for that. It's like having all your buddies in one place right here on the internet watching the Seahawks game together. And we'll have a few drinks or 2. It is going to be a great time. Be there or be square. Let's root on the Seahawks together here on Seahawks Today for that matchup with the Chargers. My final key to victory for Seattle. Got to slow down Austin Eckler. And I know that with a running back, obviously, it's in the name, you think of running the football. But with Austin Eckler, it's more than that. Austin Eckler is arguably the best pass-catching running back in the league, okay? So with Austin Eckler, you're not just looking at a guy that you have to slow down in the backfield, but also in the receiving game. And the Seahawks have not done a good job of defending receiving running backs this year. Seattle's defense has allowed 57.6 receiving yards per game to running backs since 2011. That's the worst in the league. And Austin Eckler, so far this year, has 41 catches, 261 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is a threat, a big-time threat in the receiving game. You have to find a way to contain him and not let him get open and be another option for Justin Herbert. So, to recap, my 5 keys to victory for the Seahawks. Got to get off to a fast start, not just on offense, but defense too. Got to create turnovers, limit penalties, establish the run, slow down Austin Eckler, but also in the receiving game too. If they do all those things, the Seahawks should win. But with that said, Chargers are a better team. They're at home. I'm going with the Chargers. But if there's any silver lining, I still have the Seahawks covering, though. It'll be a good game. I like the Chargers 27-23. Now, your turn to predict the score. How's this game going to play out? You going with the Seahawks or are you going with the Chargers? What's your score going to be Let me know in the comment section. Get your crystal ball out and tell me how this game is going to play out on Sunday. We'll see you for the watch party beginning in the afternoon time. Kickoff at 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific, right here on Seahawks Today. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So there is that, guys. I'm sorry that I picked against the Seahawks, but I got to be honest with you. You know, it's all love here. Nothing personal. It was just a business decision. I have the Chargers winning. Do not hold that against me, please. What are you guys saying in the comment section here? Matthew says K9 is going to have a ball game. He's running great. Arizona Cardinals checking in says 34-17 Chargers. Micah says Seahawks. Matthew says haven't exploited that fact. Chris says Seahawks 27-24. Book says Seahawks 30-24. What else we guys got in the comment section? What are the predictions for Sunday? Let's see here. Let me put that in chat right now. Send us your score predictions. Okay. Business says Seahawks 31-23. Micah says Seahawks 41-31. Okay. What do you guys got? What are your score predictions for Sunday? Matthew says 28-16 Hawks. Yeah, it's going to be a sneaky good football game. I'm very intrigued how this one all plays out, folks. Jeremy, what was your prediction?
Ooh, my prediction for this game. I actually think the Seahawks can come in and win this. I think Chargers didn't have a great showing. They won against the Broncos. I think the Seahawks defense, they can get some pressure on Justin Herbert. The offensive line has been iffy ever since I believe Rashawn Slater was out for the season. As long as you can get the running game going, something that the Chargers are better whenever you have to pass the ball.
Right.
And I think the Seahawks can get into second and short, third and shorts to where they don't have to throw it deep and let those pass rushers come upfield. I think if they can get to second and 5, third and 5, they'll be better off. And the kicker's out for a couple weeks, so they'll have a new kicker.
Oh, that's true.
My score prediction, I'm going Seahawks 27, Chargers 20.
Okay. So, guys, here's where we're at right now, Super Chat-wise. We are at $113. We are about $37 away from the boot.
And business. He said, Chugs, Mariners going to take the AL West next year. I actually have nothing against the Mariners. Like, if the Astros lost to the Mariners, I'd probably be rooting for the Mariners against the Yankees. I don't have anything against the Mariners. I was really hyped whenever they made it to the playoffs because I know that ended their drought. And I have no ill will towards the Mariners. I wish them nothing but the best moving forward. The Yankees, on the other hand, I hope they go into doom and lose Aaron Judge this offseason. I hope they are horrible. I hope they are the worst team in baseball next year. I hate the Yankees.
Aaron Judge to Seattle?
That would make me happy. Even though everybody, Astros cheaters, Astros biggest cheaters, whatever, I think the Astros did it the right way in building through their farm system and getting guys in the draft and getting guys and developing them. The Yankees just wait for other teams to develop them, like the A's, like the Mariners, like these other teams, and then they just go in their pocketbooks because there's no cap, and they just pay all these guys the biggest amount to be there.
Business says, okay, you're allowed to be here.
Yeah, I like the Mariners. I don't have anything against them. I mean, I thought that was a good series. Like, the last game was intense, going 18 innings, one of the longest MLB playoff games ever. Like, that game was insane. I don't have any ill will against the Mariners. Yankees, on the other hand, they can suck it.
Yeah, Matthew says Yankees can kick dirt.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals. Does Chat Sports have a Arizona Cardinals channel? No, we do not.
We used to. It's kind of dormant, ghosted right now. It has like 500 subs. But we don't post anything.
No. What I would say, Cardinals fan.
Yeah. And Book, thank you. Even after the cheating, since the cheating scandal has come out, we've made 2 ALCSs and a World Series. Like, okay, I get it. Every team steals signs.
Sure.
And every team does that stuff. The Astros took it one step further, technically cheating. I can admit that. But, I mean, if you're going to say the Astros – if you're going to say the Astros got everything where they are from cheating, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Book's a Braves fan. Okay.
That was rough. That was a World Series where I was disappointed, but at the same time also losing to the Braves, I don't have ill will towards the Braves. They were a great team.
They were. That was a great story.
That was a great story too.
Okay, let's throw up the Super Chat menu. Here's what we're going to do, folks.
Matthew, yeah, the Astros are probably the all-decade team in my opinion.
Probably so.
They've made, now 6 ALCSs?
Arizona Cardinal, by the way, what I would do if I were you, I'm going to put our main channel in the chat. We're covering the NFL as a whole. Mark, you got to go? Mark, you can see a boot from Chugs for $37. You or anybody out there, $37. And we can do a boot.
Keep it real, Mark.
Otherwise, Mark, we'll see you Sunday, my friend.
Hell yeah. Our guy, Mark Sanchez. Clap it up. 2 claps for Mark Sanchez.
Woo! You didn't Ric Flair it.
Oh, my bad. 2 claps for Mark Sanchez.
Woo! There we go.
There we go.
All right, guys, let's set up the Super Chat menu. Here's what we'll do.
We'll put 60 seconds on the clock.
67. There you go. Tyler Jones, Ty Bro. So, Arizona Cardinal fan, as I was trying to say, I know that we got sidetracked. I would subscribe to our main Chat Sports channel where we're covering the league as a whole. I'm on there from time to time, and we're covering the Seahawks on this channel all the time. But that's what I would do. I'll put our main channel, the sublink for that, in there as well. And I do some stuff from there. I certainly, love just talking about the NFL besides just the Seahawks too. We have a great time there. So subscribe to that channel. I'll put it in the chat, and you'll see some updates on the Cardinals and the rest of the league from time to time. Let's see here. Let me put the link in for our main Chat Sports channel. And that channel has NFL videos every day. Okay. So here we go. We are at $113. We need $37 to get to the booth.
I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock.
If we get a Super Chat within the next 60 seconds, we stay on and we keep the show going. If we do not, we go home. So that is what's at stake, folks. A Super Chat of any amount, we stay here, keep going. If not, then we go home, we call it a day. So 60 seconds on the clock. Up to you guys. You want to keep the show going, send us a Super Chat. You want to see a boot from Jeremy Chugs, send us $37. Whatever you guys got, let's see. Michael with a score prediction, 31-26. Seahawks. Okay. Arizona Cardinals. Subscribe to our main Chat Sports. Love it. You'll see me there this weekend. Business says LA teams are going to have to move to Canada.
Hopefully.
Oh, man. That's so far. I went there for a Charger game last year. That place is nice.
I know it's going to happen eventually, but it's going to be crazy when there's NFL teams in, Canada and, England and stuff. Because
Europe.
You know they're going to expand at some point.
Oh.
But see, Tom, unlike televangelists, we're actually offering something in return.
Okay, I'm not going there. But you're never going to see a televangelist drink on air. I can tell you that much right now.
That's true. Joel Osteen might do other drugs, but not.
Hey, I'm not going there. Michael says Seahawks are really good. I don't know why people think they're bad. I think the Seahawks have gotten everyone's attention in the league based on how things have gone down.
All right. Our 60 seconds is up, guys.
Okay.
It's been real.
We'll wait and see if something comes up. If not, sometimes there's some processing stuff. If not, then we will go home, and we'll see you on Sunday. Let's go ahead and can we throw up the graphic for Sunday, too? Tease that for the photo graphic.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. So Sunday, we're going to have our live watch party. I'll be here. Patrick Seatman's going to be here with me as well. And we'll go live 30 minutes before kickoff. And we will preview the game. We'll have a great time. And then during the game, we'll react to it, give some live play-by-play, some thoughts, have some drinks together. And then we'll have our live postgame show as well. And so you'll want to be here for that. It's going to be a great time. Seahawks Chargers right here on the channel. Subscribe and join us on Sunday. Kickoff at 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 on the West Coast. We'll go live about 30 minutes beforehand. So join us then, and we'll see you. Jeremy Chuggs, it's been a pleasure, my friend. All you guys, we do this for you guys. We can't do a show without you. We will see you on Sunday. And